behind us we have the Range Rover SVR. This isn't your regular soccer mom Range Rover. This is the super SUV that Range Rover offers. This might be one of the most amazing performance SUVs I've ever driven. So in today's video, we're gonna do a review of the 2020/21 Range Rover SVR. And we're gonna start with the looks, because I mean, just look at it. This is such a good looking SUV. And if we start with the front here, this being an SVR and having the optional carbon hood with the orange exterior, I mean, the contrast, in my opinion, just looks absolutely amazing. The whole hood is carbon, but this area right here that you can see is exposed carbon. We got functional air vents, of course. We got a black grille, big air vents in the front bumper, gloss black up front here, and we got a little SVR badge, of course. Now, while we're standing up here, we might as well pop the hood, because what's underneath here is what makes this SUV. And there we are, the 5-liter supercharged V8 producing 575 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. The SVR shares the same power plant as the Jaguar F-Type R. So as we mentioned, this is the 2020 model. Now for 2021, the only real difference is that you can get a carbon edition SVR with just even more carbon fiber than our tester here today. We get carbon fiber in the engine bay as well, and a different 22-inch wheel option. That's about it. No additional power for the 2021. It's the same power plant, 575 and 516 torque. We're going to talk more about this, of course, once we get out on the road. So as we move along to the side here, again, extremely good looking lines on this SVR. It sits on 22-inch wheels wrapped around 285/40 diameter tires all around. It also has adjustable suspension, so currently it's in its lowest setting, and yeah, it looks amazing. So we move up here, we have more carbon fiber here on the fender. We got carbon side mirrors, of course. And as we move to the rear, we have SVR badging, of course, right there. And that's about it. You don't really get SVR badgings all over the vehicle. Another thing that lets you know, and you'll be behind one of these a lot if you see it on the road, is the dual quad tip exhaust that only the SVR gets. That goes without saying. We have LED daytime running lights in the rear and also up front, of course. We got a power lift gate. And this being a mid-size SUV, there's plenty of room in here. There's a third row underneath here as well. Got a little privacy shade if we want to pull that out. Here you can raise and lower the suspension up. So look at that. Now obviously you would use these buttons more for when you're stepping up to it. Wow, it really goes high up there. You put it down to be able to access the trunk space here when we got tons of new Gucci bags and stuff to throw in here. So we'll take a look at the key fob here. We got the lock button, unlock button. You can turn the lights on as well by pushing this button right here. LED lights, of course. Turn them off by pushing the same button. You also have universal windows down as an option. You have to turn it on in the infotainment screen here. So if you hold the lock button down, all the windows and the moonroof will open. I know you're supposed to be able to get them up as well, but I haven't really figured that out yet. On Fords, you just hold the lock button down and it does it, but yeah, it doesn't work on this one. It's probably doing it in some other way that I haven't figured out yet. So we're gonna transition to the interior here, and we'll start with the second row seats, because I'm 6'2". I always like to do a size comparison here for height and also knee room. But before we jump in here, take a look at this door. We got gloss black, like piano trim right there. You can get carbon fiber for that spot there as well. We got soft leather, Meridian sound system, speakers of course, and then we got blind spot monitoring for the rear passengers. So before you open the door, if this is turned on and let's say someone on a bicycle is coming right there, it'll let you know, like, don't open the door. Now look at these seats. These are the rear seats. We got SVR badging here in the headrest. They are bolstered. They have a real performance design look to them, and I love them, but they are soft. This is of course a luxury SUV with a lot of power. Just very nice looking. We got some perforated stitching looking design there as well. We'll jump in here. Headroom is okay, I have to say. Knee room is all right as well. This is my driving position right there, so I mean I could live with this. Maybe have a bit more room back here, but oh well. We got dual climate control for the rear passengers, so the right passenger can have their own temperature and so on. We got heated and cooled seats for rear passengers as well, which is phenomenal. Cooled seats, in my opinion, is one of the best inventions ever. But let's jump into the driver's seat here, and the driver's seat even more bolstered. Same design of course, but just more aggressive. It's a very, very good looking interior. The Range Rover SVR will compete with the BMW X5M, Mercedes GLE 63 AMG, and also the Porsche Cayenne Turbo. And like we said, the interior looks really, really good, but I think Mercedes is on top when it comes to the interior game. They can't really be beaten there, but that is not to take anything away from this Range Rover. It looks amazing. Now to light everything up here in the interior, we have to start it. And man, does it sound good. Oof, this is probably the best sounding out of the competition, even better than the AMG, and I'm an AMG guy at heart. Better than the X5M and better than the Porsche Cayenne Turbo. The supercharger, in my opinion, is key because there's no turbos to muffle the sound. And what we're gonna do right away, as you can see here, we got a dual screen, infotainment screen, where you can share the same screen with both screens, or you can have a different screen for the lower one. So we're gonna go to vehicle, and then we're gonna go to drive modes here. This is dynamic, which opens up the valves. You get a bit more crackles. It doesn't really become all that much louder, but you get more crack. This thing sounds amazing. So while we're talking about the driving modes, I mean, I drive it in dynamic, but you do have eco mode as well. This is the comfort program, and being a Range Rover, of course you can take it off-road. We got grass, gravel, snow program, mud ruts, sand program, and then the rock crawl program. Now, I don't know anyone that would really buy this version of the Range Rover, an SVR, and go heavy off-roading. But, you know, Range Rover being of the Land Rover family with the Defender in particular, they have a well-known off-road heritage. Of course, the Range Rover is going to come equipped with these features if you would want to go off-road. But again, I doubt that any soccer moms or any, you know, athletes or whatever the type that buy an SUV like this, they're going to drive it on the street, not off-road. But it's nice to have that as an option if that's what you want to do. We got a 360 camera as well. If I put it in reverse, excellent resolution. Optional feature is for the mirrors to tilt down as well when you're backing up. Steering wheel is leather wrapped. You got a very specific 9-3 grips here as well. The controls on the steering wheel are very self-explanatory as well, and they are clickable. It's not like a touchscreen, which personally I don't like at all. Now you have a lot of different features to choose from here. It has lane keeping system, blind spot information system, of course, collision warning, and so on. We got digital speedometer and tachometer. We got our little SVR badging in the middle there. It comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission. We'll talk a bit more about that when we're driving. Very responsive transmission for not being a dual clutch. And then we got the air suspension buttons right here, up or down. We open this up. It's like a 2-tier system. You can open that, and then you have a fridge down here with 2 different cooling settings as well. We get USB ports, micro SIM card holder right there, 2 cup holders, and we have the glove department box as well. That opens in 2 different tiers also. So that button opens the lower part, and this button opens the upper part. We got a panoramic sunroof that we're actually going to close now. It's pretty windy outside. And then this is always a lovely feature. You got dual sun visors. Every vehicle should have this. Phenomenal. Now we're gonna take it out on the road, but before we do that, I did a more extensive driving video of the SVR in POV format. So if you guys wanna check that out, I'll link it in the description. I'll put a card up here as well. This is basically the viewpoint you have of that whole video, and it's mainly focused on what it's like to drive this awesome SUV. It sounds so good, and this thing is extremely fast. Range Rover claims that it will do 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, and that is pretty impressive for a 5,200 pound SUV. But with the all-wheel drive system that you get, it is really quick off the line. But how much does it cost? So it starts at $114,000. Now, if you start checking every box in optional features, you'll get up to $145,000 for an SVR. The one that we're driving today is spec'd at $134,000. It doesn't have some of the interior carbon fiber packages and so on, so you're saving about 10 grand. But $134,000, you know, I mean, it's chunk. It's a chunk for sure, but that's the way it is with these premium luxury SUVs, especially when you get the performance option. It's gonna be over 100 grand, but when you stomp on it, at least at the moment, it feels like it would all be worth it. This thing is amazing out of the box, just stock, especially the way that it sounds. I mean, again, it's gotta be the best sounding performance SUV out there in the price range. We're not talking, you know, Lamborghini Urus and stuff like that, because that's twice the money of this SVR here. Now, having a big power plant, it's of course not going to be good on gas, so you're going to get around 13 when you're doing city driving and you know, stomping on it all the time. But if you drive conservatively, I'm told it can do 20 on the highway, but not when you're driving like this. You can't have a vehicle like this without being on the throttle at least 50% of the time. I mean, why else would you have a vehicle like this? You just get a regular Range Rover Sport. You don't have to have the SVR. But if I were to get one, it would be this. It has to be this, because it's a joy to drive and it handles well. Again, 5,200 pounds, you got big wheels and tires on there. It's very quiet when you're just driving it normally. Perfect combination of the luxury feel and then also the performance feel. So we got it in sport, shifting manually. Oh yeah, I mean, the shifts are pretty much instant. That's impressive. So if you want to do spirited driving and kind of feel like you're doing something yourself, the shifts are pretty quick. And it's got crackles in sport mode. I love it. This thing is brutal, man. What a beast. I've driven a lot of cool SUVs in my life, but this, I don't, for some reason, I can't really put my finger on it. For some reason, this one is, it's special. I think it's a combination of the powertrain and the way that it looks. It's just such a good looking SUV and good sounding SUV. But that's just my personal opinion. If you're in the market for one of these and you live in the area, definitely check out Jaguar Land Rover of South Hills, which were the ones that provided the vehicle in today's review. So a special thanks to them. I'll leave all their contact information and their inventory as well in the description below. Give them a call if you're interested in this specific vehicle, as it is for sale. But with that, we're gonna call it quits for today's review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Let me know what your favorite feature of the Range Rover SVR is down in the comments. But until next time, bye-bye.